Yeah, you should be good.
Uh, you're good.
Why is it still playing the music?
Nah, yeah, nah, I don't hear music. Gucci.
What up? What up, everybody? I know that was a little bit of a weird transition, but hope everybody's having an amazing fucking day. Back with another stream. Have a full packed panel here today. Last week was just me and Loco, but today we have Gambler back, one of our hosts, and then a very special guest, a good friend of mine, Bra, or now he's Big Bra, and he could tell you a little bit about that.
Come
Why he's
on.
why he's Big Bra now, but and then somebody new, a friend of Bra's, and somebody who I just got to know here today as well. Cool guy JLK, who is actually I may be butchering this, but he's on the CTO team of a coin San, which we've been talking a lot about lately. A real active coin a community that's been on my comments a lot, and a coin that I'm interested to hear more about JLK himself, but also San and everything like that. Trying to make an effort this on these streams to not just have analysis and talk about the markets and current events, but highlight both good teams, coins, just cool people in the space. So if you have a coin or a project that you want highlighted, obviously I'm not going to take everything. These are coins and stuff that I'm interested in. They're not paid promotions or anything like that. I only want to highlight coins that I think are good opportunities, good communities, undervalued stuff. So definitely reach out. Either way, how's everybody doing today? For Loco, Bra, Gambler, everybody good?
Great, amazing. Off the pre-workout and thermogenic, so can't complain.
Love to hear that. You already got a workout in today, or you said you got some cardio, right?
Just cardio, a little bit of sauna, just to get the mind flowing, blood flowing.
Fuck yeah. For Loco, you good? You awake? How you doing? Fuck yeah. Um, Gambler, can you hear us, brother? You good? You good? He might be having some technical difficulties. But yeah, today we're going to talk about everything that's going on. Obviously, where Bitcoin's headed next. A lot of cool stuff happening in the past few days. Uh, uh, Real estate industry, or Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac, now allowing crypto to be used to as collateral and proof of funds to buy a house, which is crazy. A lot of cool stuff else going on. And like I said, we're going to be talking about San, this coin, and a lot of other meme coins. So, without getting before we get started, if you guys could please like, retweet, comment, bookmark the stream so we can get this out to more people. Again, I'm Bren. Been doing these streams for almost a year now with For Loco. Been a lot of different people on, and we're just going to continue to do these streams throughout good and bad market conditions. And yeah, excited to be here. First of all, let's go ahead and talk a little bit about the Bitcoin price a little bit. The last time that we were on stream here, I think what was it on Tuesday? We were just coming up, made a big major reversal here, and I told you I think we're gonna come back above this channel soon and explode up. And then since then, we're sitting right about 110K here. A two things can happen here, or there's really two paths that Bitcoin's going to follow in the short term. Either it continues to flag out here and then just explode back above all-time highs, or there's a possibility that it comes back down into this channel one more time, down into maybe the mid or low 90s. But either way, to me, what we're seeing here since May 25th is an obvious corrective behavior. Pretty much what we saw here in January to April was a really obvious corrective channel, as I like to call it. What we're seeing here since May is pretty much the same thing, but on the lower time frames. So I expect the same thing to happen that happened on this bigger corrective channel to happen on this one, where again, it either explodes up from here, goes to 110K plus, or comes back down one more time. But I think the outcome is going to be the same over the next few months. I think Bitcoin goes way higher, and just like it happened, last year in November when Bitcoin hits price discovery, I think that's when everything else starts to pop off. I think SPX 6900 kind of led the way for memes last month. I think once Bitcoin starts to hit price discovery, we're going to see all the great meme coins do the same exact thing. I think we're going to see a lot of coins hit new all-time highs. Um, and yeah, so I think next few weeks, I think Bitcoin moves higher. If it explodes straight from here, always possible. I do think again this does look pretty flaggy and corrective. I think there's a good chance that it just rockets up from here and goes back to all-time highs. But either way, I'm extremely fucking bullish on Bitcoin over the next 3 to 6 months plus. I think what we're about to enter into this next period is something we've really never seen before, because of all the regulatory clarity of all these institutions and stuff buying. I think the normie hype cycle that's going to eventually come, which we see every cycle, is going to be more explosive and just like crazier than anything we've ever seen. So, uh, I'm excited. Again, I've been just been accumulating slowly, just just surviving this time. But um, I mean, for Loco, we already talked this last week. But before we get into San and everything else, I mean, brah, I know we had you on here a few weeks ago. I'm sorry, a few months ago, and at that time, I think you were still accumulating some coins. But I mean, what is the last few months for crypto looking like for you? Have you been accumulating some of the older coins while trading some of these newer coins? Or, I mean, really, what have you been up to crypto wise?
Mm, well, I just been gambling, bro. To be honest, just trying to find like the next up and coming communities, next coming coins. I missed a couple of good runners on so, but basically just been just accumulating more mog. Joe finally looks like it's finally gonna pop, so I'm happy about that. And yeah, just been accumulating. Like I said, well, that's all I wanted to bring on Rev, but San, I like San a lot. I've been accumulating that. My boy put me on that I go to on at the gym with. So I go to the gym with him, and he was like, "Bro, he's always been like a trader." And once I seen him have conviction on a coin, I was like, "All right, bro, there has to be something here." So yeah, I've been doing that. Brainlit also freaking finally bounced. I mean, it went right back, but round tripped it again, but it bounced. So I'm happy about that. And yeah, just been accumulating, holding my Mog, holding my Joe. Yeah, I'm just waiting for the market to stop being boring.
Right on. Yeah, no, I love that. I love that approach of kind of accumulating the strong, like longer term coins that we know are going to fucking explode on this next leg while still being active in the trenches. And I think that's something that you do really well. Kind of having like a hybrid approach of still being very bullish on like Mog and Pepe while still trading these newer coins. But you're not the type of person, from what I've seen, who's like a shill. It's like shilling new stuff every day. You find these newer opportunities, but you treat them like with conviction, and you really pick a few coins that you really like, and stick with those, even if they're newer opportunities. I don't know. I just feel like you're good at finding those like middle of the ground opportunities that are still young, but still have like shit going for them, and kind of finding those early. I know we asked you
Hmm.
something similar about this like before. We did another stream. I think Bra was at the gym, so it kept cutting out and stuff. But the
Yeah.
what are some like characteristics that you find that you see, common characteristics that you see in these newer coins that pop up that excite you, and kind of like Son or these other coins that are like, okay, I'm gonna kind of attach my name to these, and kind of ride these out.
Well, it just depends. Like if I see like what I see the community doing and what I see the actual coin doing. Well, like for example, there was like Aura Farm back then. That one was a really good one. I found that one like at 100, 200K, and up to like 5, 6 mil all time high. But it would have kept going if Aura didn't, do what it did, in my opinion. But yeah, that was a good one. And what's up, foo? Sorry, my son pulled up on me. And yeah, so I love what I'm seeing with San. I barely started. I found out I seen his Instagram like the other day, and I started going through like his because he's an actual well, like an influencer. And he's on board, the actual dog owner, and he's and yeah, I like how he's trying to bridge the gap between Web 2 and Web 3. So every time I see things like that, people trying to like actual build. and we're trying to how do you say, not extract. If that makes sense. Trying to like build for the Web3 instead of extract from Web3.
Yeah, no, for sure. There's just like a stark difference between there's people who are trying to actually build something long term and like an actual community and movement, and then you can tell there's people who are just like extracting and yeah, so that's cool. I'm glad to hear. I do have the Son chart up above of here. We will go into other
Hmm.
stuff here shortly, but let's just go ahead and get into Son. For me, I know they've been rating my chat a lot lately here.
Brother,
Relentless, not chat, my comments.
I
Um,
remember when I first came out, like at two. Well, I had when I first got in, like my first bid. I only bid a little bit, but like at 2 mil, I got on my alt account and I tweeted. I was like, Sanchan is the next shib or something like that. Just a little shit post, bro. That shit got it got. I didn't even send it to nobody, and now that's like another good sign when you just like tweet randomly, and especially because that account has like I think only has like 300-400 followers, and they got like 40 likes or something, and I didn't send it to like. Usually you get likes like that when you send it to like a group chat or a chat of like the community, but nah, that when somebody that's a good sign in my opinion. Like when a community raids you without you having to send it anywhere is because they're fucking bag workers, you know?
for sure, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, when I saw like obviously to me, I found a lot of the best opportunities of the last couple years from I don't know who that is. I think hold on, it might be bruh. Hold on. A lot of people who a lot of the greatest opportunities of the last few years I found are from people rating the chat or hitting me up on Telegram. Um, and yeah, I mean the Son people have just been super relentless. At that point, I looked into it. Chart looks pretty fucking good. For me, this is kind of what you want to see with these coins. Is like a lot of times they'll have the initial run up and then came back down, but it has been consolidating consistently for 3 or 4 months. Still feels like this is really the make it or break it time for any coin is when it has that initial run, comes back, consolidates for a couple months, and then if there's still something going on, there's still like an active community. Usually that's when it'll have its run that really proves itself, right? So completely chart wise. And again, I don't know too much about the community. That's kind of why we're having JLK and on to talk a little bit about it. But just chart wise, this looks like a nice base and something I've seen from other coins where it'll consolidate for a few months while it's initially kind of finding its footing in its community, and then we'll just take off to the upside. So this is something bullish for me chart wise. Again, you want to see consolidation before a major run, but I do want to hear really like the history about Son. First of all, JLK, I don't think we've said what's up to you, brother, yet. How you doing? Right on, brother. What of real briefly, like so people know a little bit about your story. How what did you get your initial start in crypto? Was it with the markets? Was it with crypto? Maybe want to tell us a little bit about your history in the markets. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Hold on. JLK, JLK, can you hear me? The chat is telling us they can't hear him. I just want to make sure you're in the chat for some reason can. I just want to make sure you're not speaking to the wind real quick. Hold on. Uh, no, you're good. Hold on one second. Let us know. Say something real quick, JLK.
Audio Rose. Yo, you can
Yes.
hear me?
Say, chat, if you guys could
Yeah, I
let us
think
know that you can hear JLK. Okay, it says
Works now.
working now.
Okay, cool.
Perfect. Yeah.
But
Keep
yeah,
going
and
now.
to sum it up, I started at the middle, not even the middle, the fucking end of NFTs. I bought the top. I stuck around and just like sat back and learned how everything worked. And you know, I remember I came from stocks. So in stocks, I don't know if you guys trade stocks or anybody came from there, but you know that the only real way to make money is options. So like I would hit like a 200% or 300% and felt like a fucking genius. But when I hit my first 50x in crypto, and everybody in the chat was just like, "Oh, this is just another day." Like nobody was like phased. Like I turned like $300 into like thousands, and I was confused. Uh, but then that's what got my start because I'm around just a bunch of dopamine addicts every single fucking day. Eventually that stuff rubs off. You become a gambling addict, and now I'm here. I think my first big start was oh, you know what I noticed? Because you guys were talking about Bitcoin earlier. So I noticed that every single time, September is usually like red for like trading in general, whether it's stocks, crypto, whatever.
Yeah.
I noticed that every time September closes green, the rest of the year closes green also. So I think this was maybe 2 years ago, like right before like the big meme run up, like the very first one. September closed green, so I'm like, okay, I need to lock in. I remember I just started working again, and
Yeah.
I loaded my Robit account with like $800, and I
Hmm.
didn't even use the whole $800. I only used like 300, but I was like compounding gains because I started realizing uh, I would lose a lot because I would just hold everything to zero. I was looking for the home run, but I'm like, no, I need to like compound gains and shit like that. Whatever.
Yeah.
Anyway, I turned that $300 into like 20,000 in like 3 months,
Nice,
and
bro.
then I lost. I lost 8,000. I spent like 5,000 on myself because I'm not about to lose this entire thing that I just made. It's the most money I've ever made at the time. And then I threw the rest of the money into Whiff, and then I fucking wrote it to $5,
And the
and I
rest is
think
history,
I
right?
sold it at $2 and something cents. I don't know, but I
Good,
made a quarter
bro.
million dollars off of Whiff, and that was like my
Wow.
first big start.
Congratulations. So it seems like you had the natural transition that a lot of people had where first got into the market with NFTs and then probably transitioned into meme coins when kind of Pepe and stuff kind of came around. And then, that's awesome, bro, that you turned a little bit into a good amount and then a good chunk into a lot of fucking money, dude. And that's like the stories that I love to hear. And like, I want to have a lot more people on like yourself and Bra. Like Bra's story with Pepe is like I want to have him on and have more of a so where you guys can hear the story more higher quality. I know last time he was coming from the gym and was cutting out a lot, but just people like you guys who have these stories of turning a little bit of money into a lot of fucking money through these meme coins, and then sticking around and making it like a full time thing. Like that's the stories that I want to highlight. So that's fucking amazing. I think we're gonna see a lot more of that kind of thing happen where you hear stories of people who are working at 7-Eleven and all these things like becoming millionaires from these things. So you guys are pioneers. Shout out to you guys. um, Now, what you said obviously you made it with Whiff JLK. You made hundreds of thousands of dollars from Whiff, which is amazing. Where did you transition into like Son? Where did you get hooked up on the team and everything with Son?
Okay, so
And by the way, am I saying it right? Is it San or Son or what the fuck?
it's however you pronounce it. That's how I see it.
Uh,
Sometimes I call it San, sometimes I call it San. Nobody has corrected me yet, so I just roll with whatever sounds good for the moment.
all right, bet.
but but yeah, so when I made all that money on Whiff, like I missed Bonk entirely because I was not on Solana. I was like a ETH maxi initially, unfortunately, and Yeah, so Shibas hold like a special place in my heart because that's where I made my start. So to make a long story a little less long, I started realizing like, so I'm, and for anybody listening, because I heard bruh say this earlier, and I'm like, damn, I wish I had that skill because he's like, I'm just in the trenches gambling. I'm not good at that. I'm gonna be honest. Like, I am not a gambler. I think it's a skill for you to like buy something and hit like a 10x, 50x, 100x, and you can immediately sell it the same day. Like, I am awful at that. I can't find pump funds for shit. This it's not my bag, right? But where I can make money is just through holding coins. So like Whiff was my biggest win at the time, and then I broke that down. I hit like Mother super early. I hit Michi super early. I found Michi under a mil too. Uh, and like my biggest wins all came from coins that I was holding for a long time. The only coin that like was like instant gratification, I think I bought mustard at like 6K market cap or something like that, and it went to like 80 mil within like 24 hours. That was the only one that was like very instant. So I'm not used to the microwave quick gratification. I wish I was, but it's just not my bag. But it takes me a lot to buy a coin. So I was searching, 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 and then I found Sun. I think I saw it late. I saw it like at like a mil, but then like a lot of people were like swinging the chart. You know how that shit goes. I didn't buy it. Well, I did buy it, but I started sizing in like on those dips like under a mil market cap. And what stood out for me was just like Bra said earlier. Uh, if you can tweet like the name of a coin, like without saying the hashtag, like people search the hashtag all the time. If I can tweet the name of a coin and people are gonna like flood my mentions and just find me, like that was kind of the sign. And the community was small, but the engagement was big. So if you have like, at least back then, if you have like 2,000 holders and you're getting like 30, 40, 50 likes on something, it's like, okay, like clearly these guys are kind of schizo, and those schizo coins are the ones that go the distance. So I kind of gravitated towards that. But essentially with Son, another reason why I gravitated towards it because they got the owner on board. So now they own the IP.
Yeah, yeah.
And
So I want to get into that a little bit. So obviously, San is the dog, correct? Obviously, um, right now the guy. I forgot. I was researching a little bit, but tell me about the story around San and the actual guy himself and what kind of inspires everybody to be so excited about the coin.
yeah, so essentially, he's literally every single video he drops does like 500,000 views at the absolute minimum. I started noticing that usually, like let's say, when a coin goes viral or there's a viral trend, let's say the video gets like 10 million views, right? After that video gets 10 million views, I would say like 99% of the time, the engagement drops off at like 90%. So like it's damn near not even viral anymore. It's just that one post was viral. That's why these coins are kind of like here today, gone tomorrow, because like, everything goes viral now, right? So with Son, I started noticing like every video is like gaining traction, which means that he has his own community that he's built, like a Web2 community, right? So essentially, he was walking Japan. He's Japanese. He walks Japan, and on his journey, he found this dog, Son, and he adopts this dog and takes her on his journey with him. And he just created this huge following just from walking Japan with this dog. And people loved it because they're watching this dog literally just grow up right before their eyes. Like Sean was really young, and then every single day he's like day one, day two, day three, day four. I think he's on like day 100 and something. And like I'm going through the comments, and there's people in the comments that's like, I would die for this dog, and
So
that's
he
what
was
kind of clicked for me.
real quick.
Like, okay, they're like if you thought like crypto people are schizo, like there's Web2 people that are like that are willing to crash out for this dog that they've never met. Like they're watching this every morning, like it's a TV show or something. You know what I
Willing
mean?
to
So
crash out over a dog is crazy. But so the now this guy, what is his name? You might have already said it.
Kentaro.
Kentaro. Okay, and then Kentaro was already doing this video thing before the meme coin started, or is it where did the meme coin come in the
So
videos start?
somebody made a coin off based off of his journey. So the he was already walking with Son, and then somebody made the coin, and they reached out to him. The whales got together, sent him I think like 3% of the supply, and he doesn't want the money. Uh, I think he's fucking goaded because I just he was just in the spaces and he said that his favorite anime is One Piece, which is mine too. But for anybody in the audience that like knows One Piece, Luffy is very free. Like he's a pirate, so he's like the freest person on the sea. But anyway, that's what he said he wants to do. Like he wants to be free. He doesn't care to, uh, hold on to just anything. Like he's essentially a nomad. Like you're walking and people are like taking you in to stay at their house, or he'll sleep in a tent. He'll sleep by the river. Like he's not walking and then going home. Like he's walking the entirety of Japan.
Okay,
So
so he has no
go ahead.
interest in like doing anything with the coin, but he still supports it and appreciates it, and you at least know he's not at least by what he says, is not going to dump his 3% on everybody.
Well, no, no, no. They he the 3% they gave him, he locked it for 11 years. I think it's
Amazing.
10 years now.
That's
So
fine.
every single week, 50,000 tokens gets unlocked, which is a drop in the ocean. That's really small amount every single week for the next 10 years, and it gets sold and donated to charity. So I think he's donated over like $24,000 or something like that so far, and it kind of blew me because it's bittersweet because I'm glad I found this project, but it fucked my head up at the same time because it's just like now I have a how do I explain it? I have such a different criteria for like coins now. Like it fucked up my whole like. I look at all my bags in disgust now. You know what I mean? Like I'm just like, damn, like, because I started thinking, right? Because like I said, I made all my money through holding coins. And I started. There was one coin in particular. I'm not going to say the name, but for people that follow me, they're going to know. I bought this coin at 8,000 market cap, and it was sitting on Pump Fund for like 7 months straight. Like it's flatline, it's dead. I promoted it myself, got a whole bunch of guys together to push it. Long story short, I think I ran it up to like 45 mil market cap or something, and obviously it ended up like dying off because that's just the market. But the creator of this character came out and he just was like, fuck crypto. How this shit goes. Like 99% of artists hate crypto. So he's like, fuck this coin, fuck crypto. I don't want this coin. Like, delete all this shit.
Yeah.
Because we blew up the social media to like 300,000 followers. So the this character, we made it more popular than the artist himself, and he shut it down. So that's when I started realizing how important IP is,
Yeah.
because I'm like, damn, like if you don't own the IP, how are you supposed to grow your coin through multiple cycles? You know what I mean?
No, yeah, for sure. No, that's very interesting. That's cool. I have the same kind of approach. I think I'm more buying and holding coins that are. I like how you guys take the hybrid approach of doing this buy and hold stuff. Really have conviction in coins that are a little bit newer. I do it with more kind of older coins, kind of make more concentrated bets. I really like that though. I think for me, I'm curious on your thoughts on this. I kind of see the next phase of meme coins like as I think there's going to inevitably be a huge normie hype cycle like there always is, and probably the biggest one we've ever seen. I think the next evolution for these different meme coins is they become big, huge movements and like companies and much bigger than just like these online little things. I mean, do you see meme coins kind of transitioning into the same thing long term, or I mean, where do you see
Oh yeah,
like
100.
long-term
So
meme coins?
I look at it like this, right? I'm 99% sure you have a whole bunch of friends that are sports betting, and they're the same dopamine addicts that we are. So
Yeah,
like they're willing to throw 10, 20, $30 into a parlay to try to make a dollar. So it's the same thing with memes. Like essentially, if you feel like there's odds to win, then you're gonna gravitate towards here. But not only that, as time goes on, because easy mode was at the beginning, it's not easy mode anymore. Like the game is so hard that like there's so many tools. They have trackers, they have this, they have that. Like easy mode is over. But on the bright side, what we started realizing is like SPX is kind of the proof of that. Mog, like Bra said earlier, there's a few other coins, like these cult coins. Like I think Murad is like, well, my opinion changes as it goes. I thought he was a crackpot at first, but like as time goes on, because I had SPX like super early also. But as time goes on, I'm like, okay, like maybe he might be cooking. I think he's a genius now because it's just like, you know, gambling on new pairs is just not EV anymore because there's just the game is too gamed now. Like
Yeah,
if you're not playing the game, you can't win.
yeah,
So it's better
100%.
to
And you made
uh
a great point. It's like
sure.
the people that are sports betting. I think meme coins will become like what a lot of people. Or there's gonna be two facets, right? There's like meme coins. A lot of the volume that's gonna come in is gonna be those same people, like you said, who are instead of sports gambling, they'll just be trying to fucking hit the meme coin lottery, right? And then I do think there is these like longer term coins again that have survived multiple years that are going to be multi-cycle things and be more buy and hold, turn into these huge movements. So 100% right. Yeah, I think Murad, I've always been a huge fan with him just because a lot of the same thoughts I've had about cults, like these cult type meme coins and these pretty much how all these great coins have a lot of the same characteristics as Doge, XRP, Cardano, the past cycles. And this is already like a proven thing, right? Like this cult like thesis he's talking about. So yeah, I mean, I think Murad is way ahead of his time. I mean,
Yeah, for sure.
we're already seeing a lot of we're already seeing a lot of institutional investors, and I've seen these people talk on Bankless and other places that are starting to model meme coins and other coins around these different things that Murad was talking about, like last year, about memetics and like these different community dynamics and shit like that. So,
And
no,
he's
that's
been talking about this for like way before we even it was even a thought. Like I thought I was a holder. Like again, I've made most of my money from holding, but he's holding. I'm talking about like year plus. Like he's thinking multi-year, and that's kind of what had me thinking. I like how you said like you're not just listing memes for things that are like that are cults. Like the XRP guys are it's a cult. Like they're on TikTok, and if you see some of these TikTok videos, you're gonna think that they're the most delusional people on the planet, and they are. And that's why the price goes up. So like look at Pengu for example, right? The reason why I like them so much is because uh, I think NFTs were the original cults, right? So like people used to put on these profile pictures, and I started realizing that the reason why NFTs did so well is because people wanted to be a part of something. Like you see the Milady guys, the Bored Apes, whoever. Like
yep.
they went to insane valuations because these people wanted to be a part of something. So I started realizing and Pengu is one of the multi-cycle coins who also own their IP, and they dropped the coin very successful, whatever. The reason why they did well is because they already have a core audience of people that believe that this is going to be the biggest brand on the planet. So just like Murad has been pretty much preaching this entire time, it's just like, you know, people that want to be a part of something, those coins are going to go a lot further. Like the culture coins, they call them, quote unquote, like MOG and SPX, etc. Like
Yeah,
that's
for
kind of why
sure.
I
I think it
went to
comes
Sun.
down to the coins that have a bigger movement other than just price go up, right? Like San, for example, like you guys are really passionate about the Akantaro and the story and pushing all that stuff forward. With SPX, it's like flipping the stock market and with with Pengu, like you said, it's like a cult and a community, and the coin is in the middle of it. I think social currencies, if you guys haven't already, go ahead and check out Luca Netz, who's obviously the founder of Pudgy Penguins, or not, maybe not the founder, but the owner, right? He bought it at a later date. But either way, he talks about social currencies and how that's kind of going to be the next transition of meme coins, where meme coins are going to go from more than just like crypto Twitter communities to like these full blown movements and community companies with the coin like in the middle of it. And that really goes along with like you made some great points. A lot of it, people are going to be looking for places to belong, and I think meme coins are really going to fill that. But I don't want to spend too much time on that one subject. San, um, like I said, chart looks good for me. I've been learning a bit about what you guys going on. If you guys are just tuning in the last few minutes, we have Bra on. and JLK. JLK works with the team on Son, one of the coins that has caught my eye recently. Of course, this is not a paid promotion or anything. I'm just trying to highlight a lot of cool people, smart people in the space, and a lot of like just undervalued or coins and communities that I think have a good shot and kind of learning about their stories and stuff. So JLK, I mean, Son, like I said, chart wise looks good. Where do you think it's going over the next 6 months? When the next leg of crypto picks up, do you see this as a future $50 million coin, 100 million? Like, where do you see this thing going in the next 6 months to a year?
Can you guys hear me? Because this girl called me and fucked my whole thing up.
Yeah, no, I can hear you. Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, can the chat hear me? Let me see.
Can you guys hear JLK? Please let us know.
Can I get a
Yeah, I think you're good.
Okay.
Okay, cool.
Because I see your global moving.
All right,
Yeah.
bet.
Hey,
But
JLK,
yeah,
mention how
at least in
merch.
the next 6 months, I'm not sure. Because at first I used to kind of get targets and stuff like that, but like now these days, like I don't know, I just feel like I have all the time in the world. Like again, I've there's been I'll give you a perfect example because bro talked about Pepe earlier, and that was one of my most generational fumbles because I bought it. I seen it under I seen it at like 300K. The guy that sent it to me literally rugged me 2 times, so I didn't fucking buy it. And then it pumped. I bought it like right under 29 mil, and then it went to, obviously, I think it was like 1.7 bill, and then it pulled back on like a bunch of FUD. And if you guys remember, Pepe was flatlined for a very long time. So I thought it was dead. And then I sold Pepe, and then it fucking pumped. Um, we were talking about SPX earlier. I was an early SPX holder, held for a extremely long time. Also sold that one also, and then it pumped. So like now, I just I zero or hero everything. I feel like that's like the best way. I mean, maybe that's not good advice, but for me, it is. Like, I feel like it's the best way to make money. Just, if you believe in something, you bought it for a reason. Anytime you have doubt, on price, just remember why you bought in the first place. Um, as far as targets though, the community's goal for Son is to, because, well, not only the community, but Kentaro in general, he wants Son to be the most socially impactful Shiba ever. So, like, obviously, most coins are extractive, they're not giving anything back. This coin is donating weekly. So, I was thinking, like, obviously, he's going to be donating for the next 10 years, which basically confirms it as a multi-cycle coin. So when this cycle is over, you're gonna have a reason to still bid this coin once the cycle is over, right? So the community's first goal is to flip SHIB, which is around $40. So then the next goal would be to flip Doge, which is I think Doge's all-time high was like around 80 billion or something like that. And then after that, the sky's the limit. Like you don't have anything above you besides like L1s and Bitcoin. So
Right on, man. Lofty goals, but as we've seen, anything's possible. So that's fire. Um, nice. Real quickly before we transition to everything, I mean, where do you see the crypto market in general going over the next couple of years? Are you super bullish? I mean, for me, all the regulatory clarity, everything's happening. I think it's going to lead to more of a up only trajectory instead of like these big, boom and bust cycles where crypto goes down fucking 80 or Bitcoin goes down 75% for 2 years. I think we're going to start to see what we've seen over the last year or so, where it's more just big moves up and small corrections in between. But I mean, I want to hear from you. What do you think crypto goes over the next 6 months to a year, price wise, and just like the industry as a whole?
I mean, I think this is gonna absolutely rip because one, the administration is pro crypto, so of course that's helping. And then, like you spoke about earlier, with being able to use crypto to buy your future home, that's a huge, 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 huge move because, bro, I haven't been paying attention to the housing market too often, but some girl, I was talking to this girl, and she was like, "What are the houses going for around you?" And I haven't checked in like had to be like 2 years. And the fucking house across the street from me is a 3-2 that should just sold for like 600K. The house next to me just sold for 660, and I'm like, damn, this shit is expensive. So like I'm kind of looking at it. If we can use crypto to even like assist in making it easier to get a home, like that's a huge step. And we're just like every I feel like every single week or damn near every other day, we're just like hearing more positive news, regulatory news that's like before like the regulatory news used to be bad, but like now it's like just all positive things. So I think Bitcoin is going to go much higher, but I do think that this how everybody says like alt season, it's a fucking cursed topic at this point. I'm like 90% certain. I think Bitcoin just goes up only. I think memes have their run because there's always going to be people that want to get rich. But I think the true alt season happens off chain, like with Hood, Coinbase, and those type of stocks. I think we've already seen like some monster moves like off chain with stocks that have to do with crypto, and I think that continues. And a lot of people are going to miss it because they're not paying attention.
100%. And yeah, no, alt season's probably like the most popular topic on crypto Twitter right now. And yeah, I mean, me personally, I think, uh, you know, I think definitely there's going to be like an off chain thing, like there always is, like especially with exchanges. Whatever's on the exchanges, once the normies flood in, and just have an advantage, especially if it's one of the few meme coins. As far as altcoin season, I think what we've seen the last few years with memes running has been a lot of the same capital kind of on crypto Twitter and just like flooding around. We saw a little bit of an influx of normies come in November before the Trump coin thing happened.
Yeah, for
But
sure.
I think ultimately we're going to see, I think Bitcoin could just continue to go up. Bitcoin dominance could go up, but I think what we're seeing with regulatory clarity, all this stuff about stable coins, I think the entirety of crypto as a whole is going to grow. The entire pie as a whole is going to grow. Bitcoin dominance, I think it could go either way. I think there is going to probably be a time where it stalls out and or goes down for a bit, and that's probably where you see kind of a real hype period of 6 months to a year where everything kind of goes crazy. I think that we probably do see that. But like you said, I don't think it's necessary for that to happen. Bitcoin dominance could go up, but the overall crypto pie as a whole also goes up, so that Bitcoin dominance could go up, or while the entirety of meme coins alts also go up. I think number one, people are talking about Bitcoin dominance, but I think total three, which for those of you who don't know, is the crypto market cap minus Bitcoin and ETH. Right, so it essentially measures the entirety of crypto without Bitcoin and ETH, the two biggest coins. I think this is the chart that actually properly shows the health of the overall alt and meme coin market. And to me, whenever total three goes up, that's when the alt market and memes are strong. To me, this is the most obvious coil up that I've seen on a chart in a long time. Just like this one was, I do think total three is going to explode here and go above $1 trillion, which I think is going to go along with memes and alts just absolutely fucking ripping. So I do agree with you. We probably will see a big off chain movement, but I think it's going to be more of an and thing, not of an or. I think a lot of people just naturally, I don't know what it is about human behavior, but they love to pit things against each other. Like it has to be Sol or ETH or
Oh
alt.
yeah, no, I'm with you. Yeah.
Whereas fair enough, like I mean, it really has been memes, Bitcoin, and then nothing else. But overall, I think with this huge influx of capital that's going to come, founders able to do more stuff. I think what it's going to be more of an and thing, with obviously the on chain, off chain stuff doing really well, but memes and a lot of these older alts doing really well as well. So I do think we don't need Bitcoin dominance to go down, but I do think like these other cycles, we will probably get a traditional alt season at some point as well.
I do think alts I agree. I don't think it has to be or. I think it could be both. I guess to clarify a bit earlier, alts are just essentially doing the same thing as memes. So before memes were like up only. I'm talking about everything like Zerbro and MLG. You name it. Every single meme was just going up for whatever reason. You could find a narrative. It's gonna go. And we've seen previous alt seasons with the same thing where like literal vaporware was just up only. So I think now that like most alts have gotten wiped out, and now most memes have gotten wiped out, it was essentially like an alt season but accelerated. I think now we're just a lot smarter with what is going to go next time around. So I do think that we'll have a lot of alts start moving, but I don't think it'll be like damn near everything like it was before. I think we're a lot smarter this cycle with what is going to move and what won't, if that makes sense.
Yeah, makes sense. You're hearing that a lot of that sentiment, like, oh yeah, they'll never, get back to everything, running like crazy again. And like, I definitely fair. I think the market and people, especially in crypto Twitter, have gotten probably a little bit smarter. But we got to also remember that a lot of the people that will enter are either brand new or haven't touched crypto for a long time. So there will be a lot of inefficiency and people betting on and buying, retarded shit as well. So fucking great points, brother.
Fair.
Yeah, for sure. Great points. Now you're pretty bullish on crypto. What are, let's just say, like, what are your, besides Son? What are you, maybe three other coins? Maybe that people should be paying attention to, other than the obvious ones, like some other coins that you like right now.
I'm gonna be honest, and that it's kind of what I was saying earlier. I think Son fucked up my perspective of everything because like I started looking at all my bags different because like now I'm looking at coins like Pengu,
I don't know
Giga,
if that's,
like those coins that own their IP and can be multi-cycle. Not every coin needs to own their IP. Like for example, Pepe is an anomaly, or like a phrase like Mog, for example, or there is no IP to be owned there. It could go up forever. You know what I mean? So but I do think that like for coins that are like outside of like cultural phrases or just like movements that you've created, like SPX 6900 is something that was created. Uh, when it comes to coins that like are actual memes that were created by people or like living things, like Son is living, or like or like Pepe, for example, how that was created by somebody. I think when it comes to those memes, if it has to be like a multi-cycle meme, I think those kind of memes are gonna like not have to, but more than likely the ones that own their IP are going to be the ones to go up. So
yeah,
I mean, outside of Son, I outside of when it comes to low caps, I'm not really looking at too many things. I like US DUC.
yeah.
Their community is kind of cool. Uh, but besides that, it gets really murky. I'm really in like the large caps for the most part, like SPX and with Mog, etc.
Oh yeah, for sure. I'm the same way. Like really highly concentrated bets on a lot of these coins. Like lock in is one that's like a little lower cap that I'm that I love. But yeah, I'm
That's
the
another
same
thing.
way.
That's a phrase, so that's cool. Like that's
Yeah,
literally that could fit the description of a coin that like retail could come in and be like, okay, I know this,
yeah,
and rock with it.
absolutely. No, yeah, I fuck with that. I fuck with the approach of, picking a few coins you're really bullish on and riding for, and I think that's really the only way. I think really you either have two approaches to meme coins, where you're either treating it as like sports gambling or sports betting, like you're saying, and obviously we know the results of the average sports better. And I honestly, I think meme coins, it's another discussion, but Pump Fund probably gives you a less of a chance than, probably gives you the chance of the average parlay that you're doing, right?
Yeah,
A
for
lot of
sure.
these, so there's that approach, and obviously you may make fucking $5 million, or you might make zero, or there's more of the investing approach. And right now, uh, whatever most people just completely shit on that. Oh, you can't buy and hold meme coins. But I disagree. I think if you look at what's happened every single time Bitcoin corrected, in the summer of 23, in the summer of 24, and then this one, every time when Bitcoin's gone back up, the great memes, Mog, Giga, SPX, Bitcoin, all these do go back up as well. So yes, corrections are nasty, and yes, you have to go through a lot of you know, take a lot of drawdowns sometimes. But I do think buying and holding meme coins, these, again, you can't do it with everything. It's really a select 10, 15, 20 coins you can do it with. I think those are the people that are going to print millions and millions of dollars without having to gamble. So I really like your approach. I think that's really the only sustainable approach. And I really like how you guys are doing it with smaller coins, right? That's the stuff that, yes, it takes more work. There's a little bit more risk to it, but that's what's gonna really make an impact, and also you can make crazy returns, and stuff. So really, really appreciate that. insight on there. I want to look to the chat. Today has been mostly like a bit of an interview type of like getting to know our guests. I know a lot of times we are a lot more interactive. So I want to know what you guys are up to. What's up with everybody in the chat? I know we probably have a lot of San people here. Um, let us know what are some other coins that you guys are looking at. We're going to talk about some other good stuff that's happening, like the real estate stuff that's happening with Bitcoin. I want to hear from my other guys here for Loco and a few others. But let's go ahead and take this time before we transition to do a bit of a reset. If you guys could please like, retweet, comment on the stream, follow all of the panelists. Again, we have a special guest, two special guests today. Again, Bra, my good friend. A lot of you guys know him. Meme Coino JG, he's been here since the Pepe days. Even a little bit before that. So super stoked to have him on. And then he brought on his friend JLK, who's also been giving us his story, amazing story as well, his insight on the market, him working with this coin San, which we've been learning a little bit about. So if you guys could please, again, like, retweet, engage on that original stream tweet so we can get this out here and grow the stream as the crypto market heats up. Because really there's no other fucking industry in the world I'd rather be involved in right now than digital asset industry. Love doing these fucking streams. So we always appreciate you guys. Talk about the TON network meme coins. Yeah, we can definitely do that. Monkey phone. For Loco, you still with us, brother? I know we've been yapping for a while here, but
yeah, I'm here.
Cool. I don't know if we heard from you yet. I think how's your week been going? Everything good?
Yeah, everything's good, man. While you guys were discussing the project and kind of like other metrics in the crypto industry, there's a lot of things happening right now. I mean, Trump just said that they stopped the trade negotiations with Canada. There's a bunch of things happening. Market was a little bit volatile here in the last 30 minutes to an hour, but it's surprisingly strong to see that Bitcoin price action is just so strong. It just keeps getting bid. So really, pretty much, it just tells you that whether we go up or down with a little bit of volatility, we're here to pretty much get to the next level here very soon. So just being paying attention to the news, even though it's been a fairly slow week, looks like we have some peace talks over the Middle East, and other than I guess some sort of like trade deal with China as well, and Europe. So there's things happening. As we see every day, there's a new either ETF or corporation trying to buy BTC for the treasury. So it's just one of those periods in this industry where things are going to slowly grind up. I think someone mentioned it from one of our speakers today, and I don't see it slowing down.
Yeah, no, right on. And I appreciate you doing a bit of an update for us. I do see that you tweeted earlier. Love to see you guys tweeting more. Definitely, if you aren't already, definitely follow for Loco. Has a lot of great tweets and takes the last few days. So Trump said this is like an actual quote from Trump earlier this morning, or?
Yeah, he was speaking just like about an hour ago, and I mean, he mentions a lot of positive thoughts about crypto. Some of them, you can agree with, you can disagree with. He's got his own style of speaking, and what I like is that his cabinet really is supportive of crypto with the Genius Act and everything that they've been doing. It's been very positive for our industry. But certain things like that he mentioned that Bitcoin will help relieve some pressure of the dollar. I don't know if I particularly agree with that, but hey, everyone is entitled to their own opinions. And yeah, he's been just firing tweets or I guess posts on Truth Social over the last few hours as well. So.
Interesting. Okay. And then obviously stock indexes. Let me pull up SPX at all-time highs. At least SPX. Pretty sure the Nasdaq did too. Oh, that was yesterday. Insane. Just what? Sorry, it keeps doing that. Let me share this correct tab. Just what was this? 2 months ago, about 10 weeks ago, everybody was panicking, calling for multi-year freaking recession, bear market, that these tariffs were going to send us into a fucking long, financial crisis. Put out this tweet here. talking about comparing. This was back in April 7th, so about a week before the actual bottom, or maybe a few days, kind of comparing this to what we saw in COVID of March in 2020, where Bitcoin came down 30% due to everything going on with COVID, the fear of what could happen. And then when the market, realized that wasn't going to happen, quickly recovered. And it's pretty crazy how uncanny this was to what happened here. Obviously, the fear subsided with tariffs pretty quickly, and we're back here again. This is, I think, is just proof of there's always going to be another crisis. It doesn't matter. This year it was tariffs. The last year it was, there obviously was COVID in 2020. This last month was the Israel Iran crisis. The only constant in these markets really is there's going to be another crisis. But it's like every single time, most people just fall into the default of just being fearful and thinking of what could go wrong. I think it's important, like all the smartest, most like wealthy, successful investors that I know, and all these different markets, is they have one thing in common, is that they see these corrections as opportunity.
Yeah.
So it's just, I would just implore you, like, there's going to be another crisis. Hopefully I think we're going to have a good period of where that negative stuff's really going to have a period of positivity with everything going on. But there's going to always be another crisis, a year. There could be a year from now, 6 months from now, 2 months from now. I just implore you, next time this happens, just look back to these other crises, this one, the last, every one we've ever had, everybody who's used those as opportunities, and to not freak out, but to buy the dip if you had, dry capital, and just remain patient. Those are the people who are just the biggest winners. So just pretty incredible to see stock market fucking rally that fucking quickly. And I mean, we saw what happened after it made all-time highs in COVID. It went on to go up another 50% over the next year. So I mean, what are your thoughts on this, for Loco? Do you see stock market continuing on? I mean, what are your overall thoughts on this rally over the last few months?
Yeah, most definitely. I think that stock market keeps grinding up, and another interesting fact that I saw this morning is, back in the day, everyone was kind of like concerned about the volatility of Bitcoin, but over the last few months, we just found out that even stocks like Tesla or Coinbase is related to crypto, so that makes sense. But Tesla is a more volatile stock than Bitcoin is, in terms of price action. So now you're really buying an crypto asset that is worldwide, pretty much being adopted, and bought by major corporations, that is less volatile than Tesla. It's just one of those things that you start to realize, like, maybe we should start to think about particularly Bitcoin in a different way, than we think about crypto and altcoins, right? So I do see the S&P continue to grow, and continue to grind up, as I mentioned, likely to record highs. The U.S. economy is not slowing down at all. And now with the kind of like some sort of like peace talk over the Middle East, whether there's still some conflict or not, as long as it doesn't escalate, I do see more money printing. I do see more asset stocks keep getting inflated to catch up with the basement. So there's just there's just no way we're gonna be able to get out of this, right? Like, when there's probably another conversation for another day, but I'm one of those not I don't want to call myself like negative, but I want to call myself realist. I don't think the U.S. will ever pay its debt. So the only way out is really buying Bitcoin, and really trying to find out ways to pretty much debase the currency slower while we transition to a new currency. So I think maybe what Trump was remarking is that the Bitcoin is really helping the U.S. to, I guess, to relieve some pressure of the dollar. Maybe short term, that's what it looks like, because it's kind of like using it and as a backup, for all the money printing and the basement that is happening. But at the same time, people are going to start borrowing more dollars to buy Bitcoin and trade those dollars for Bitcoin, right? So you're going to start to see, further debasement of the currency while Bitcoin appreciates. So
Yeah.
um,
Yeah, you have a
so
lot of people theorize that that's another one of Trump's, and their plan is to, again, like you said, debase the currency and kind of inflate away the debt. I remember watching a Bankless interview with I forgot the guy's name, but this bald guy, and he was saying pretty much that's what's going to happen. that, and this was before Trump came in office the second time, and he was saying that eventually that's gonna the America's kind of, and all these countries that have fiat are kind of stuck between a rock and a hard place where inflation is kind of, it was up there a few years ago, but the debt is really high as well. So they have two problems that they're kind of in between of, and really, like, this guy theorized that what they're going to end up going with is just kind of eating inflation, right? Just accepting that it's going to be high inflation for at least several years so that they can inflate away that debt. So that debt becomes less of a burden. And again, I'm not a macro economist, but
Well, yeah.
in that world, of course, Bitcoin assets, everything that's against the dollar are going to go up. Anybody with dollars or with assets does very well, and then people who obviously are collecting dollars and not investing probably get kind of diluted.
Right, and look, when you think about like the stock market going up to all-time highs, people think that this is just like a bubble, but at the end of the day, what's happening is the nominal value of the stocks have to catch up to inflation, right? So stocks have to go up, otherwise you technically are losing money by just holding it in US dollars, right? Because the speed out of which the debt ceiling is growing in the debasement, it's really outpacing the ability that we have to pay back the debt and the interest, right? And as well as the GDP. So unless we have either one of those metrics, either GDP growing like way faster than in the previous years, which everyone is thinking that it will happen with AI and automation and robotics, that will bring that that fast-paced growth that will help us kind of like get out of this debt, some sort of like trap. I'm still one of those core believers that even if you reduce the amount of debt or reduce the amount of like, pretty much, the basement that happens with the US dollar, it's still gonna, we're never gonna be able to catch up, right? Because if you look right now, what we're doing is like we're gonna keep printing money to be able to pay interest, and then to be able to reduce interest rates, you also have to reduce, you also have to ease up pretty much the monetary policy, right? So we're in a, I don't think there's a way out here other than GDP growing probably 10 times what it is right now and adopting Bitcoin. Those are the two options. So it's very difficult. I was watching yesterday an interview with Michael Saylor and Raoul Paul on Real Vision. I recommend everyone watching it. It's very difficult nowadays to really know where to park your investments, right? Because anywhere you, that's why Bitcoin, I mean, obviously he's a Bitcoin maxi, so he's going to say Bitcoin is the only one, but it is true that it's very difficult to, as a money manager right now, be able to allocate your dollars, because anywhere you think about it, you're pretty much like, fighting and kind of like trying to catch up with inflation in the basement, so when you think about like maybe a few years here from now, maybe you do well, but when you think about 10 to 20 to 30 years, you're likely not, your investment not likely not really like returning, the kind of returns you're looking for, or you were looking for, like, back in the early 2000s or in the 90s, right? So it's not easy, whether you have capital or not, to be able to allocate it somewhere that you think is going to outperform in the next decade or so.
Yeah, for sure. And that's why even if you're earning 5% on the, on an index fund or whatever, um, that's really just tracking inflation for in a lot of ways. So, interesting. Brent, basically the CR7 of financial markets. Yeah, no, I appreciate you guys. I do want to get on to a few other things. I know today was dominated a lot about hearing about our friends here. Obviously mortgage. Obviously, what is his name? I forgot the guy's name that came out with it, but Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac now. You can, what I think they're taking crypto. I think Bitcoin and ETH. They're talking about as collateral and proof of funds to get a house. This is obviously an issue that a lot of crypto people for a long time, a lot of my friends who have bought houses and who have tried to, who are primarily hold a lot of their savings and have a lot of their income from the crypto industry. It's been, it's pretty hard, right? You have to have proof of funds and USD in a bank account for people who hold a lot of their net worth in crypto. That's been tough until now. It looks like, I think Polsey, whatever the heck this guy's name is, the senator, he's talking about how they're preparing to now take Bitcoin and ETH as collateral and proof of funds for home housing. I want to hear from everybody else, Gambler, everybody as well. But for Loco first, I mean, what are your thoughts on this, and what have you learned from looking at this?
For the mortgages, yeah, look, I think that had to happen, right? Because the amount of Bitcoin being held by institutions and corporations is going to keep growing, and even retail. So I do like it. And there were some jokes around other cryptocurrencies being accepted as to be able to qualify for mortgages, but as long as it is Bitcoin, I think it's a major I guess step forward. So I don't really have much more to add than the fact that it's very bullish for our industry and in general for crypto adoption. So
For sure. Gambler, what's up, brother? You're still here with us?
Yes, bro. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Good. No, I was really enjoying listening to JLK talk about Sun. That's one coin I haven't heard about yet. And I also related a lot to what he said about coming in just at the top of the NFT bull run and then sticking around. So props to you, bro, for sticking around and being able to find a few cooks along the way. And
I
then yeah, I
appreciate
agree
it.
with yeah, right on, man. And then I agree with Loco's point about debt too. I'm really interested in crypto, specifically Bitcoin's ability to be able to relieve that incredible, absolutely incredible debt burden that hangs over the heads of American taxpayers and everything, USA right now. So super interested in that. When it comes to this mortgage thing, super dope. Yeah, I mean, to Loco's point, it's like it's a natural step forward. I do imagine I did appreciate the memes that were like, "Oh, you can back," people are gonna be back in their homes with fart coin, and I don't know that that reality is like that crazy far away. Maybe not fart coin, but just opening that eligibility up to other coins besides just Bitcoin and ETH. And I do think that it'll be something, we'll see how they regulate it. I'm no expert on this, but I imagine it'll be like a percentage of what you hold you'll be able to actually count towards collateral just because to factor in the volatility of crypto. So I don't know what that'll look like. I wouldn't be surprised if it's like if just whatever it starts at, I think is bullish. But even if it starts at like 10% or 20% or 15% of your Bitcoin holdings, you can count as collateral. Like I think that's super bullish and it gets us on a path forward. And I also, the law of diminishing returns, that'll also diminish volatility. I think over time we'll see that number go up no matter where it starts. So, yeah, I'm really lately I've kind of just been focused on Bitcoin and stocks to JLK's point as well. I think a lot of people, including myself, are more sidelined than they like to be in terms of what's going on in stocks, if they're even paying attention. Robinhood is one that we've been talking about for weeks now. It cracked $80 recently, and I mean, that chart is just ridiculous, just up and to the right for the last like better part of a year. We also had the Circle IPO, which we've been covering for the last couple weeks as well. It's cooled off a little bit. I think it's sitting at like $180, which is still crazy multiples from the initial offering of like what, 27 or $30 or something. So um, and there's other companies as well. I think I will say I think this is only the beginning of the kind of stock meta. I think we're gonna. I think that the fact that we're seeing Robinhood run so hard. I think the fact that we saw Circle have such an incredible opening. We've seen other stocks like MicroStrategy and Coinbase just continue to do well over the past year as well. I think, and also the somewhat lag in terms of altcoins. I think we're going to start to see more and more crypto native companies, organizations start to kind of want a piece of that pie and see the moves that are happening in the stock market and kind of try to make. And also, the path towards going public is, I won't say getting easier, but the friction is being reduced on that side because of third party organizations that are handling different parts of the process, which again I'm no expert on, but making it easier and reducing that friction. So I think I'm really interested in Bitcoin. Bitcoin dominance is a ridiculous chart. It's been for again the better part of a year. I'm really interested in stocks right now. I'm trying to see, what's going to be the next big stock or even the ones that are already, Robinhood. I would love to grow my position in Robinhood more just because it feels like such a obvious play. And then just like what we talk about week after week is like the cult community meme coins that have been around for a while, Mog, Pepe. And then Joe. We've been talking Joe too. It was nice to see Joe break out, and that kind of gives me a signal that we're going to be. I'm watching for those other OG meme coins that came out around the same time as well. Ticker Bitcoin, Ticker KeyCac, and a few others as well. So a lot of things going on. This mortgage news super bullish.
Fuck yeah, bro. Love that breakdown. That was amazing. You touched on a lot of great shit there. I'm glad we still have Bra here. I think he is. And JLK, I do want to go over some meme coin shit here in a second. Bra and JLK are fucking, they already told their story, amazing stories of turning a little bit of money into a lot of money in meme coins. Not by gambling and hitting like 1,000x on like a 10K market cap coin, but like buying and holding these big coins, having conviction. So I really like their approach to the market and choosing a lot of these market cap coins that are maybe under 10 million, 50, 20 million, but really picking them kind of early and having conviction, sticking to them. So we'll talk about that here in a second. Embermain said something.
Just to know that we just crossed 1,000 live listeners, so I just wanted to point that out.
Hell yeah. Thank you for Loco. Definitely, guys, if you're just popping in here, we're just with a pretty stacked group of panelists here. We obviously got For Loco, Gambler, who just talked for a second there, Bra, who I'm excited to hear more about from a second, and then JLK, a new person on the show. He told us his story, a little bit about San, which is a coin that he's working closely with. So we're going to get to meme coins here in a second, but Embermain brought up something that I talked a little bit about earlier, but is I think really important right now, is that and while I'm still on here, I think Gambler said, I think crypto stocks will probably be a huge narrative in the markets. I would expect Coinbase to continue to do well, probably move its way up on on the overall market cap list against other stocks. I'd imagine in a world where crypto and tokenization is massive, the biggest exchange or the biggest public company, I think, will do incredibly well. So shout out to anybody who bought Coinbase and bought and held through this massive correction in 2022. I mean, it's up 10x from the bottom now in a couple years. Incredible. But I do want to look at Total 3. Embermain brought it up, is that a lot of people are focusing on Bitcoin dominance right now and trying to say, okay, in order for us to have a quote unquote alt season where kind of these older alts and kind of everything does well, we need Bitcoin dominance to come down. I think that there's a kind of a different way to look at it. I think it's possible that Bitcoin dominance as a whole goes up, continues to grow and grind up over time, but the overall crypto market cap as a whole kind of grows as well, so that we still see alts and meme coins growing while Bitcoin dominance could still go up or grind sideways. And I think what's actually most important to look at is, instead of Bitcoin dominance, looking at Total 3, which I think is a more accurate way of predicting or tracking the health of alts and meme coins. And Total 3 is essentially Bitcoin, and it's the total market cap of crypto minus taking out Bitcoin and ETH. So it's pretty much measuring everything that's not Bitcoin and ETH, and that gives us more of an accurate picture of how the overall altcoin or meme coin, like everything that's not Bitcoin and ETH, how that market's doing. Right. And to me, this is an extremely obvious coil up. And just for example of how I have these coil ups, or corrective channels, I like to call them, measured out in the past, you see what happened every time at the end of these corrective channels. They end up an explosive move to the upside. Corrective channel, explosive move. I think the same thing's going to happen here, but I think this next move takes Total 3 above 1.5 trillion, and we're going to see alts, memes, everything run at the same time. But like I just said, we could still see Bitcoin dominance go up at the same time, which would confuse a lot of people. But I think this is the chart you want to be watching to kind of gauge where the altcoin and meme coin market's going. So thanks for bringing that up, Embermain. I agree completely. I think Total 3 which is coiled and is pointing to a big move up. That's what's telling us that there's going to be a meme / altcoin market coming. So I think that's the chart I would be paying attention to right now. First time checking in on one of these. Shout out to you, brother. OKX. We always appreciate you guys for being part of the chat. We like to make pretty much the chat like just another fucking person up on the show with us, making a really big part. Sorry.
I would say, aside from what Embermain said, I will also take into account two other charts. One is the stable coin market cap, the total stable coin market cap, which keeps growing, and then the other one, aside from is the one that monitors. So is the M2 liquidity, right? Global liquidity, the stable coin market cap, and then the crypto total 3. Those are the 3 charts you want to pay attention, and none of them by themselves will tell you exactly what's going to happen. But if you look at the 3 of them, you probably can get a more cohesive premium understanding of where the market's going. Brent, you're muted.
Fuck yeah, I was talking, so thank you for telling me. No, that's a great point there. I think when I say pay attention to, I don't think like you should obsess over them. It should be a small piece of what you're looking at. But I think just where a lot of people are focusing on Bitcoin dominance, I think total 3 is actually the chart that gives us a more accurate picture of alt and meme coins. In the beginning, Bitcoin being treated as a real asset and home ownership, yes. We're still early until y'all see Bitcoin notes. We won't have a full bull run with everything running at once. I mean, that's what everybody's saying, Emberman. You notice that's the same regurgitated shit that everybody's saying. But if you look at every cycle in the past, and these are cycles where they didn't have institutional adoption or a lot of the great shit happening, there's always been a season where not every fucking coin is running, but it seems like there's just an explosion in kind of a lot of different sectors at once. While I don't think we should be expecting that or like fucking like, we don't need that to happen. We've seen memes run without that. Obviously, I just think that's what's going to happen. And I think the fact that everybody is regurgitating that same thing, and I'm not trying to shit on you at all, but like everybody's saying that same shit of we're never going to see everything run at once again, like that makes it more likely to happen, to be fair. And again, I'm not just trying to be a pure contrarian, but we've seen time and time again over the last few months, crypto Twitter will hop on these irrational narratives, and oftentimes that actually marks the very bottom of when you should be taking the opposite side of that bet. So, and I take that same thing here. Everybody's shitting on Alex Becker for talking about alt season and shit like that. I think who gives a shit if he's wrong? I think if you're one of the few people positioned and having the balls to be positioned for the coming alt/meme coin run, then I think those people are going to win either way. It doesn't matter if you're a year early, 2 years early, who gives a fuck, right? So great points, but I do think we are going to get an overall quote unquote altcoin season at some point.
Yeah. You know what, stock, because I know Gambler was also mentioning stocks, and I do think that's going to be at least the new trend for crypto companies, many of them, to go public via direct listing or IPO, just because of the amount of like interest that they're getting from investors. But one token that is starting to look attractive is Circle. It's pulled, I think, about like, I want to say, what is it, like 50%? I don't know how much has pulled from. I think it reads almost like $300, and now it's at 180 or something, or 150. I think that token, as it gets closer to 100, it's trying to tell me that people might be a little bit close to oversold. Reason why is the adoption that it had obviously was a lot based on speculation and hype. But if you think about what that token does, not only it tells you the health of the crypto markets and how much adoption is happening through issuing stable coins or USDC in this case, but also they are one of the largest. I think right after the major countries. I think they're top 10 in terms of like U.S. Treasury holdings, right? So as an investor, you want to bet in the US and in technology, right? So whether it's Circle or Tether, which I know is private, but as more stablecoin issuers come in, backing US treasuries and investing in digital assets with the fee system that Wall Street loves, that's one of the stocks I'm looking at. Hopefully, it gets closer to $100 and to be adding. I don't know if you guys have any thoughts on this, but it's one of those things that you always see this adoption with no reason. You get to probably like way too high, and then it also gets on the other side of the table. It also starts to get like way oversold. So how do you see it, Bern?
No, yeah, great point. I think like okay, just making sure I wasn't muted. I think right now like these big stocks, like these the big releases and something like Circle, who obviously has a hot narrative with stable coins, waiting until that first initial correction, even if it means that you miss out on a huge fucking move, to me, that's where I start taking these things seriously. And of course, we've seen a bunch of people made billions of dollars and millions of dollars on this run up who got in early, obviously VCs and people who are allowed to dump. So this could very well go down to closer to 100, but I think going into this big crypto run and stock market run that I think that we've been talking about, I think Circle is an obvious, an obvious runner or an obvious leader in that narrative. So I'm definitely keeping my eye on Circle. Again, I don't really dabble too much in equities, like besides some bigger, like longer term options contracts sometimes. And I think I may deploy that strategy here with Circle at some point in the next few weeks if I see it kind of consolidating. What I'd be looking for more of like a real sign of a bottom is some type of consolidation for at least a week plus, which is usually what we see at the bottom of these corrections. So great point though. I think Circle, there's going to be a lot more IPOs, Robinhood, Coinbase. I expect them to probably do really well over the next, few years.
Yeah.
XRP.
Worth noting that this pump also is attributed or can be attributed partly to the Genius bill passing, right?
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's a great point from Furloco, because it's easy to think you missed this stuff, but just like you have those, or at least we're seeing a pattern emerge at least of these crazy pumps, like we're used to seeing in crypto happen in the stock market. We should be watching for these dumps on things that have solid foundation and real fundamentals, right?
Yeah.
So
I mean,
great.
fundamentally speaking, I think your point is great, Gambler. Is this is one of the most profitable kind of like companies that is literally at the edge of technology when it comes to digital assets. With in a time when they went public with the most positive, less frictionless regulatory aspect, and they're backing U.S. Treasuries, so you have literally all tailwinds for this to continue to go up. Obviously, short term, again, I'm not giving any financial advice. I do think we can go a little bit lower, but if you want to bet in crypto and you are not sure on what else to buy or you're just not comfortable, I think Circle is one of those that has pretty much, to me, is trying to look very, very, very attractive and has all the metrics that I'm looking for, for at least for my return profile. I don't know if you guys see it that way, but I know it's a larger company, so it might take a little bit longer, but it also, we know what happened with Tesla in 2020. It's sometimes adoption and whatever comes in the near future is highly overvalued in some cases, but in some cases also not understood until it happens, right? So by the time it happens, it's probably too late to buy
For
it.
sure. I'm gonna look at XRP for a second for you, Wonka. When Sol runs, many coins will go with it. Yeah, no, for sure fits. Why do you think Europe is lagging behind the US in institutional money coming into the space? Honestly, I wouldn't be able to give you a good answer to that. I know obviously the US is just in the perfect storm with a president who's just very driven on with the crypto stuff, right? He has a vision of making America the capital of crypto. I assume that a lot of places in the Europe kind of follow behind like the US and a lot of stuff. But I wouldn't be I don't know, maybe for Loco has a better answer to that.
I mean, I would say the number one is regulation. Europe, it's. I mean, I don't want to call it socialist because I'm actually from Spain originally. So,
Yeah.
what I can tell you is regulation is it's really the probably the number one issue that Europe is facing. And then when it comes to startups and ability for them not just to launch startups, but also the ability for them to do business within crypto, it's just not easy. So they're flooding to Asia, they're flooding to the US, somewhere that they can launch their startups and really do business in a more fluid way. So I think regulation is the number one issue. Europeans just operate in a different way. So yeah, that's what I would say.
Yeah, for sure. No, that was a great question. XRP though, somebody asked about. I think XRP coiling up nicely. One of the bigger charts of like the top 10 coins, not the futures. Let me see crypto. I think I have XRP right here. No, yeah, right here. But yeah, no, XRP is coiling up really nicely on the higher time frames. The past few months, I think this is coming to the end. Maybe goes down one more time if Bitcoin comes down, but I think it's coming to the end of a very, very obvious coil up, and I think XRP is going to be one of the leaders, continue to be one of the leaders of the higher market cap, like top 10. And I think, like we talked about before, it has a lot going for it. Time in the game. This coin's been out for what, 5 years? Wait, more than 5 years. Fucking 7 or 8 years now. Has a lot of mind share amongst many cycles. Has that normie cult crowd, but at the same time has proven that there is something there. As far, I'm not going to say XRP is going to be the world reserve currency by any means, or like even a big currency among banks or anything, but there is some kind of connection with the big institutions and the XRP and Ripple kind of leadership. We've seen it with Trump kind of talking about XRP and all this different stuff. So I think it has kind of that perfect combination of that cult like normie crowd that is just diamond hands as fuck, and then also like an institutional narrative. And for that reason, with crypto also being very strong, the conditions, I think XRP is going to fly. I think XRP probably goes to $10 from here. So maybe not straight from here, but I think once it clears all-time highs, it's only about a 3x, 2.5x from $10. I wouldn't be surprised if that happens in the next year, or less even. So we're super bullish on XRP. And yeah, I've been accumulating a long position slowly and some more spot. To me, I feel it is just like another alternative to like accumulating Sol, Bitcoin, ETH with like a little bit, obviously it's not in the same exact tier, but I think it has a lot of upside from here, personally. Will you be looking at meme coins? Yes, we'll do that right now. Bro, are you still with us, brother? I know we've been talking here, yapping for a bit.
Sure. I was just gonna ask. You seen like what the Pengu ETF? Does that kind of put them with XRP or?
I love that you brought that up, because that was actually one thing I wanted to. Let's touch on that, and then we'll give us a natural transition into meme coins. But yes, for Loco, you obviously saw that as well yesterday. The Pengu, they filed with what's it called? What is the company they're working with? VanEck. They filed a. Trying to see what it's called exactly here. Something that essentially asked the SEC for permission to file the ETF, which I guess only. Can you hear me?
Is it an S1 filing?
Yeah, here, let me just try to find it so I can tell you exactly. Bitcoin or Pengu ETF filing. But I think it's actually something that only a few coins have done so far. The Canary Pengu ETF, the first and only spot party. Oh yeah, my bad. The Canary today Pudgy Penguin NFTs were included. Okay, that was from a few months ago. But essentially they filed for the Pengu ETF, which actually includes the NFTs, which is pretty crazy. Obviously, I think it's just an application that the SEC has to approve or deny. And I think it's one that only a few, I think the Doge ETF did it, and then a few others have done it so far. What are the implications of this? I think personally, I think it's extremely bullish. Will the Pengu ETF have a fuck ton of demand off the rip? Who knows? But I think it's just a sign of more things to come, of more demand and more financial instruments around digital assets. Now, does this spark some kind of NFT bull run if this fucking done? It's always possible. This is something we've been talking about here for a bit of a possible catalyst that could spark NFTs. I could see it happening. I mean, this is something that not too many people are talking about outside of pudgy people. I could see this coming out and getting approved, and then maybe it sparks a little bit of a rally that we've been looking for in NFTs. Either way, I think this is super fucking interesting, and I'm interested to see how it implements the NFTs as well. I mean, what are you thinking of?
To be honest, because everybody was saying like NFTs are dead, NFTs aren't coming back, and this literally says the opposite. So I believe what you're saying is gonna come true. I might have to start looking in the next.
I think what this does is really it's just testing the interest from traditional finance and I guess Wall Street investors, and see if they're actually interested in dipping their toes into crypto in a way that it's more of a social finance. I mean, the other day it's the other thing you can think of is Pudgy Penguins or Igloo is a private company, right? And for them to to grow at a speed that they can quickly go public, it's going to take them years, right? Because the product, whether it's a digital asset title thing, or the toys, or the physical product that they're releasing, it's going to take them much longer. But if you are betting on this brand as a digital asset with a social implication, right, like Dogecoin, etc., then you get access to liquidity much faster. So I do think it's a smart way to go, public from the back door somehow with an ETF, without really, putting into them. You're not putting the company valuation or its fundamentals on the first page. You're using the social growth and digital currencies growth as a way to pretty much tap into liquidity and adoption, which is what Luca has always been wanting to do. They wanted to have the Pudgy Penguins brand everywhere, to pretty much help with the adoption of crypto and digital assets. So I do think it's smart. We'll see we'll see what happens if first of all if it gets approved, and then the reception of it. But I don't think it hurts them at all, right? So we'll see.
No, great points there about going public. I think eventually, and this is like a little bit far off. Maybe this is 2, 3, 5 years off, and something I've been thinking of. And I think what a lot of these NFT companies are going to do, especially as the brands grow, is eventually the move is a lot of them, I think, are going to IPO. And I think the natural thing in a way that could bring a lot of these NFTs like long-term actual value is if they give, and obviously laws have to be put on forth in place for this, but to give equity, an initial equity to the initial 10K holders of the biggest collection, or even all of the collections, right? And I think that's something that I could see 5 years down the line, a couple years down the line, if this NFT bull run happens, or just these NFT brands grow as a whole, as I believe a lot of them will IPO on chain and probably give initial equity or at least some type of ownership to these holders. And that's, I think a lot of people are missing with these NFTs right now is, yes, right now they're digital collectibles that give you kind of upside in the brand for sure, because as we've seen with other collectibles, with Disney, with baseball cards, like if the actual person in the collectible or whatever gets big, so the IP gets big, so do the collectibles. But I think a lot of people are missing is that eventually a lot of these IPs may give actual ownership in the companies, the ones that are successful enough to IPO. That's another subject. But yeah, like I said in this tweet, I think like Bra touched on earlier, about nine out of 10 people, like a high percentage of people, believe there's never going to be an NFT bull run again. But I mean, I heard the same sentiment coming in both after the 2017 crypto bull run and after the 2020 bull runs, where people thought, oh, we're never going to reach that peak hype again because of whatever. I think the same thing's going to happen with NFTs. I think not every one of them's going to run again. I don't know how strong the actual bull market's going to be, but I think just like the internet stocks died in 2000, like the top ones are going to come out of the ashes, I think. So who knows?
And look, the previous cycles, just one more point before we move on. The previous cycles were driven by literally only a few hedge funds had positions in Bitcoin. They were all retail driven, right? So all the hypes, all the peaks, all the FOMO tops that we saw in previous cycles were retail driven. This cycle, the reason why so many people have not been doing well, or I mean, so many people when you think about CT, right, and people, is because this cycle has been actually institution driven, right? Like it's been pretty much institutions just bidding in a very structural way where, there's like, a few dips here and there, but they're bidding constantly and moving the prices slowly up, which is something that retail doesn't like. People and DJs want to buy something that goes 10x in a week because first of all, they don't have patience, they don't have discipline to invest. But the other thing is the retail is not here. It's not here at all. Like at least when you look at previous cycles and how those drove Bitcoin and altcoins to all-time highs, there's nowhere the activity that there was. You look at the views, activity on chain, pretty much if it wasn't because Bitcoin's all-time highs, I'm telling you, like 50% of the people or 60% of the people out here won't be here. And we already seen, I mean, you and I have discussed this. It's been very quiet and slow for many months because the truth is that the large majority of people that are or have been involved in crypto for the last few cycles don't hold or they don't own any Bitcoin. So just something to take into account for sure.
Yeah, for sure. We're in this like echo bubble on Twitter where we see people doing full-time crypto. But I mean, like you said, other than Bitcoin, I've heard all the big content creators. I've seen it on these streams. I've seen it in the Telegram channel. Um, and many other areas like viewership I've heard like on YouTube videos, for example, are down to like 2019 levels right now. So 100% like a lot the retail crowd isn't here yet. With that being said, I think there's obviously what happened with FTX, a few other things probably stunted the growth of the next kind of normie kind of hype cycle. We saw it briefly in November. I don't know if you guys remember, Bitcoin started making all-time highs, or a few months after it started making all-time highs. We started to see like normies start to pour in. I remember I started seeing on the Telegram channel, it started growing like crazy. In a few weeks time, we start to see that like that chill guy meta on TikTok. And then it kind of
Yeah.
Bitcoin topped out and it kind of came down. I think on this next run here, we're going to see that, but more of a drawn out like actual hype cycle happening with normies. And in that sense, that's when you're going to start to see YouTube video views go up. People start to talk about other things. So I mean, the fact that you brought that up, I think that's another sign here, sign pointing here that we haven't seen anything yet, and that we're not going to probably see a big top here, 4-year cycle top or anything. I think all the metrics in the past bull runs of like overhype or heating up too much, all of those are at like 0 right now. So great fucking
Yeah.
points. I think the normies aren't here yet, but I think they're a few months, a bit more of Bitcoin going up away from that changing.
I'm with you. I definitely think that, because I remember around that time in November, like the TikTok started ramping up. Like we had an entire TikTok meta where people were only aping coins that were going viral on TikTok at the time, and that's where I think Chill Guy came probably like right before that, and kickstarted that. But I do think that we probably would have had retail here already if we kept that momentum going. I think what
Yeah.
really stunted that was when obviously Trump Coin launched, and then that was doing really well. I actually had, because I have like two separate Twitters. I try to like keep myself grounded because, like you said, we're in this echo bubble where, like, you know, if you're in this chamber, you only just know crypto Twitter and that's it. But if you step outside in the real world, it's just like, oh shit, like, it's a whole different world. So I keep two different Twitters to like have like 1 foot in, 1 foot out, so I can kind of be still grounded in real life. And for the first time, I had mad people reach out to me when Trump Coin launched, and I think that would have been a positive until obviously like the Melania launch happened, and then that nuked Trump Coin itself, and then we had like multiple extractions following that, and like crime was legal for like a month straight,
Yeah.
and I didn't realize how many people got wiped out until I started like thinking about, oh, where did this guy go, and I would go search him up on Twitter, and he hasn't tweeted in like 3 months. So it's like,
Bro, I know. I felt the same way. I didn't really
yeah,
notice how many people got fucked up until a couple months through there, because you always hear that like most people are getting wiped out. But I mean, it's just really evident on this run up, even back in May and whatever, like how quiet people were. It's obvious a lot of people sold the bottom and or just got wiped from being in the wrong coins.
Well, that's just a crazy sequence of events, right? Like, I wonder who won that bet on Polymarket that like Trump was going to drop a meme coin,
Oh
and
wow.
that Dave Melania was going to drop a meme coin. Like, yeah, like you blame people. We all got to say accountability, but it's tough. It's a tough market, especially when things like that are happening.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
think it's gonna take I think it's gonna take one coin of like up only, like non, like essentially a Trump coin type coin, a Trump coin type movement where people were making like generational wealth overnight, and you're gonna get like a million TikToks about it and stuff like that. I think it's gonna take like a drive like that for retail to finally sit up and be like, okay, let me join in. But I'm not sure what it's going to take to get those conditions.
Yeah. I
I'm
want to
not
hear
sure.
your guys' thoughts. 6 months from now, crypto's popping off. Bitcoin's at 150K. Meme coins are pumping. Do we see Trump coin back near all time highs? I want to hear what you guys think. What's the future of Trump coin? Is it dead, or
I
if the crypto
I
market's doing well, Trump coin comes back?
I personally
Bro, I
want
hate
to
you.
say yes, because I think memes are essentially a game of mindshare, and there's no coin or person on this planet with more mindshare than the president itself. I guess the only thing that's holding it back is like the massive supply that they have, that I guess he could fucking dump whenever the fuck they want. Because I think it's unlocking like I don't know their schedule, but I know that some unlocks already happened. I don't know if they dumped it yet or not, but the chart looks kind of like shit. So I mean, maybe they have
The
to.
unlocks were like only like a month ago. I didn't really check to see whatever. But great points, bro. I want to hear what you have to say. Trump coin.
Nah, I'm just that thing just pissed me off, bro. I think I round trip like 150K on that shit. So,
Same. I'm with
So-
you.
but I mean, yeah, bro.
So it's
it's
fuck-
because I was like, there's no
Trump coin
way.
for you.
What happened?
So it's fuck Trump coin for you, or
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, if I could get my leg back, I would bid it back. To be honest, it doesn't look bad. It looks like shit. So I mean, it might be a good buy-in, but I think it does come back to some point someday. There's no way the president's fucking coin just dies.
yeah, Gambler. What do you think?
Dude, I just sent you this CoffeeZilla tweet. It came out earlier this month, and it says timeline so far. Justin Sun investigated by SEC. Sun buys 70 million of WLFI launched by Trump family. SEC pauses investigation into Sun. Trump's sons join advisory board of Dominari Holdings. Sun becomes largest holder of Trump. Blah blah blah. He gets a link stablecoin. If Trump keeps doing stuff like that, plus exactly what I think JLK just said, that it's not going to die. A lot of normies are still holding this in their wallets for some, because they just this was the first meme coin for a lot of people. I remember that. So
Yeah.
I don't see it dying, and when a coin doesn't die and has this many people at least paying somewhat attention to it, and people are angry because they round tripped it, and you know what I'm saying, or whatever, missed it. It was me, I missed it. Whatever happened. I think this is not a bad place to. I think we're all watching it.
You're
I think we're all watching this thing,
Yeah.
right? We all know somebody who's
You're
still in, or like swinging it
Yeah.
at least.
For sure.
So,
And yeah, no, I mean, what it comes down to me for Trump coin is JLK kind of touched on it perfectly earlier, is that it's all about mind share, but it's also about the team or the operator's ability to develop partnerships, hype, whatever it is, either through their content or whatever. And Trump has the ability, like obviously the Trump family, whatever the team around it, has the ability to create more hyper partnerships than any meme coin founder, or any meme coin team of all time. And we've seen it with this dinner that they had. Obviously, it launched in bad conditions. Market conditions are absolutely everything. It's the reason why you see Elon will tweet about Doge in a time where market conditions are shit and it does nothing. And then when Bitcoin's pumping and market conditions are good, Elon tweets for Doge will go crazy, right? It's the same reason why the stablecoin stuff, all this amazing thing that's happening with crypto, isn't making any effect on the price moves, is because market conditions are everything, right? So when market conditions are good, the meme coin market's hot, everything that's positive that Trump's doing with crypto, I think all of that together is going to lead to a perfect storm where I think Trump coin's going to go fucking crazy. I think Trump coin, likely, again, anything can happen, but in a meme coin or digital asset super cycle that I think's coming, all it would take is Trump. It probably runs on its own, to be honest, but all it would take is a few announcements from Trump, the Trump family or whatever, a few activations, a few meetings, whatever the fuck it may be, to add utility. Like, none of these other meme coins have the ability to add utility like they do. I think this thing probably is bottomed out. Might be a nice double bottom here. Could go a little bit lower, but I think Trump coin 6 months, a year from now is probably way fucking higher, if I had to guess. So
Bro, I remember going into like a coffee spot when it had just came out. There was like these two freaking older Mexican dudes, freaking it looked like they had just got off of construction. They were like, "Hey, mira, esta la moneda de Trump. I put in like $200 and I'm up like $100, bro." I should have known that was my ex.
yeah, no, that was pretty nuts. That
I've never seen that much money just find out how to buy by themselves. So yeah, you guys are probably what you guys are saying is spot on.
but if Melania wouldn't have came out, do you think it would have really?
I would have been on an island right now somewhere.
Yeah,
Bro,
I think a lot of it also had to do with. I think a lot of it had to do though with Bitcoin topping out like literally like the same week. It was like forming its double top. So maybe Melania didn't go up. Maybe Trump would have gone and fucking flip Doge and all this shit for a
Top
few more
that
weeks.
what, like 800? No, billion.
Melania?
It was in
It
the
went to like
billions. It flipped Pepe.
$70.
It flipped Pepe, right? Yeah. So it
Yeah.
topped out at what, like
It
13?
did flip
No,
up to that.
80
Yeah.
billion? Is it something crazy like 80?
Yeah, it was like 70 or 80 billion, something like that, fully diluted. Right now, the fully diluted's 8. So, yeah, it was like 10x higher than it was now. But I think it would have gone for a little bit higher probably without Melania. But then Bitcoin topped out. Everything tops out, right? At least the meme coins. So, I think it would have come down either way. But yeah, I'm pretty fucking bullish on Trump, not going to lie. I know. Unpopular opinion right now, but I'm going to start to accumulate a bit more here, to be honest.
No, I'm with you. If I free up some liquidity, I definitely want to buy my bag back because I got so lucky because while everybody was trying to figure out if it was real or not, I was just like, okay, fuck it. Like, scared money doesn't make any money. I just threw in. I forgot how much I threw in, but I was definitely up like $250,000 at the top. Round tripped most of it, like bro said. I didn't think that Melania would have killed it that much. I was extremely wrong. And
Yeah.
that was the end of that. And then I think I blew like most of the profit that I secured anyway. So that's like the icing on the cake.
Yeah. Let's see. Melania has been just straight down only. Damn, it's down 99% almost, which is
That's
nuts.
another one. Maybe it has that disgusting short squeeze one of these days.
Yeah, who knows? I could, you never know. Could act as beta with Trump. I'd like to see some consolidation. Trump at least looks pretty decent on chart wise because of this double bottom kind of shit it's forming. But yeah, I think Trump probably does well in like a overall good condition. Somebody asked about NFT suggestions. We'll go over that in a second. Isn't he holding a bag of it? Yeah, I don't know if they sold any. I assume they'll probably sell some over time. But I think with everything going on, I think what's most likely is it's something they support kind of longer term, and it's something they don't extract from a lot of because of the bad implications that would come obviously with him being president. Now, brah, as far as obviously I want to hear your top. Obviously, besides Son, what are some newer coins that kind of fit the description of being newer? Maybe they're under 50 million market cap, but it's something that you could see, running way higher or has like a way undervalued, a lot of upside, kind of newer communities. Maybe besides Son, like maybe 3 coins.
Let me see.
I know you're one of the
Well, I
guys
mean,
who
I
likes
know
to
you know.
stick to a few coins too.
Yeah, no, what the Xavier community was pretty strong. That was another one that was pretty good. That one popped off recently. That shit popped off kind of crazy.
This one?
But yeah, I seen that one at like 2. I seen it from like 1 to 2 mil and didn't buy in till like what was it? Like 7. I probably bought in like a 7, and then I went up to like 20. I was up
Nice.
like 10,000 on that one too. I didn't sell.
Nice. So Xavier,
But yeah,
Son,
those are pretty cool, and they have PFPs, which is kind of cool. I mean, I like Brainlet.
yeah, Brainlet, of
It
course.
just, one thing about Brainlet is I feel like some people take advantage that it's like the Pepe Mog little retarded brother. So a lot of people just kind of try to like farm it, if that makes sense. But I think at some point it'll come back.
Yeah, okay. Brainlet, Son, Xavier. That's a nice 3. And then, I mean, what are some longer term ones? You're still obviously super bullish on Pepe, Mog. What are some like maybe a few higher? Joe, of course.
I really think Joe's gonna go crazy soon. Like that shit. Every night it's higher. Every night's like last night I almost hit 70 mil.
Beautiful. Yeah, shout out to Mr. Yellow. I don't know if you're on here. Mr. Yellow came on in the chat of the stream. Suggested Joe, pulled it up. And then fucking he made a cool clip for the chat or the stream as well, talking about Joe. But yeah, it's fucking ripped from the bottom here up fucking almost 3x while the whole market's down. So shout out to all my fucking Joe holders. I think this shit's gonna continue to rip as well, especially if the whole market picks up.
I'm hoping that shit goes to at least like 250. We'll see though.
Fart House.
I just like
Go ahead.
Fart House was crazy too. I said I just like how that shit pops. It's one of the few meme coins that pops like Pepe, like green, yellow. They just like their characters. I really like how they pop.
Nice. Yeah. Fart House, I don't really have too much of an opinion. I know it's only a few days old, but yeah, I don't really have
We
a
should mention chill. We should mention honorable mention at least. Chill
Chill
House
House is
flip,
crazy.
flipping,
chill house.
flipping fucking house coin, bro. What?
Bro, I faded that one so bad. I don't even know why.
I'm
Yeah,
so sidelined as well. I'm just like, I know exactly why, but it doesn't matter because it pumped right in my face. Look at that.
dude. Yeah, this is a
Flipping
fucking
house coin.
chill guy plus house coin together. That's funny.
And this is definitely one of those that is gets funnier the higher it goes, bro.
I love how it did this fat ass correction and then recovered like whatever 90% recovered. That's pretty fucking bullish. Um, yeah, I don't even know what to say about this. Shout out to everybody who did well on this shit. Take some profits. Make sure to lock in some gains. My message is not showing. Harisco, Corey, and Jelly. I'll look at a few for you. Corey, I've seen a lot of people rating this fucking Corey. Let's see. Yeah, this is another one. Kind of been chopping for a little bit. I will say a lot of presence like on the posts and stuff too. But house jail. Oh, jail. Yeah, I've seen you talk about jail, Emberman. Horny
Oh, the
jail.
homie, Joe Maxi, huh? Joe, okay. Go
I
chill.
do own some of that coin, by the way.
How much? Multiple percent or what?
Nah. I think I get too much anxiety when I hold uh, anything like over a
Yeah,
percent. But no, I only have like 2 mil or something like that. Nothing major.
right on. Yeah, salary. Another one. Somebody showed me in
Bro, I
the
missed
DM.
that one.
But yeah, wow, amazing fucking run up. That's fucking nuts.
No way. I literally just seen that coin at like 0 the other day. Jesus Christ. But that's why I say like finding new coins, like new pairs, is a skill. Like I just don't possess it. I don't get it.
Yeah.
Like I usually wait until a coin goes like over 1 mil and like just to like wait and see, and then I'll buy. But
Yeah, I
Well, I
mean,
think
Bro, that was me before.
so I
I feel
was
like
gonna
it's
say,
harder now.
go ahead, bro. Sorry.
Oh, no, you're good. You're good.
No, I was just gonna say worth paying attention to the moonshot ecosystem right now as well. Like they just
Mhm.
dropped that feature that now you can make and launch coins with just Apple Pay, which is how normie friendly is that? And I'm watching like there's a few coins popping off right now. I think Amber mentioned one earlier, Monkey Cake or something like that.
monkey phone.
You know, we had a whole when the bonk coins dropped, we had a whole bonk coin meta for at least a few days. So something
is this,
to maybe watch
is this
out
what
for.
you guys are talking about? This monkey?
No, it's monkey phone,
Oh,
like
monkey.
MONKE and then phone, I believe. There we go. Bingo.
Okay, wow. Explosive. Wow, damn, it gave you fucking like a whole day or two to just get in here. That's what I was talking about with Son. Like, obviously, Son's been consolidating for 2 months, but this is an example of like a base where something consolidates. This one on the lower time frames, but this is what you want to see is consolidation and choppiness for at least, this is a few days, but a few weeks on the higher time frames. And then obviously we saw what happened here. So wow. Are any of you guys in this one or no?
I missed it entirely.
Mhm.
I had a homie call it at like 1 mil because it was rumored that because the CA ends in moon, so people were just like, is this a moonshot launch pad? But they didn't announce it yet. So as soon as they announced it today, that's when it ripped. So I was sidelined as fuck. But
Damn. So you had a
Yeah,
chance
no,
to fucking get
I
in for
missed
like a
it.
whole day.
But I mean,
I had a
I
homie.
wonder how this affects Pump Fund at this point because now we have so many launch pads. We have Bonk Fund, we have Pump Fund, and then now here we are with Moonshot having their own launch pad. I think there's an argument that they could have a bigger audience than some of the other launch pads because of the Trump launch. So I wonder how that
I
goes.
would agree. I would agree that Pump Fun is worried about people coming to eat their lunch, but I don't think that they're gonna like just take it without doing anything. I did just see. It was funny. I saw the news about the moonshot update. It was like 3 hours ago, and I saw that Pump Fun dropped a tweet 1 hour, just 1 hour before
Yeah.
that, announcing a new mobile. and how easy it is to trade and do all the same stuff and catch runners mobily. So they still have a great majority of the mind share. But competition is good for us, right? Competition is good for the consumer. So I like to see Moonshot, and it's good. It's kind of cool if it creates a new little meta, and people can have some fun for a few days.
Absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, I think Pump Fun probably remain dominant, but I'm sure they'll take some what's it called? Um what's it called? I can't even think right now. So
Marketing.
market share, yeah, exactly. Thank you. Market share away. But though I do think there's just a lot more volume that's just going to come on chain overall. So I can see Pump Fun still growing while these other ones do as well. I've been hearing a lot about Pokey 6900. Yeah, look at that one. Um, I think it's pretty cool. I think that one they have like a thing that creates everybody's PFP into like a Pokemon card or whatever. That one looked pretty cool. Yeah, I'm not gonna. I'll just like tell you how I see it chart wise. Like this does look pretty corrective, but the way it's looking here, I would not be surprised if this comes down again. At least one more time. Maybe makes a new low here, at least retest it. So in the short term, I wouldn't be surprised if this corrects more, but don't know too much about the community besides the Pokemon card thing. But if this is the community you are bullish in, you think it has legs longer term, obviously this is the time you want to accumulate versus when it's going straight up in the air. So Mask. Yeah, we'll look at Mask really quickly here. Yeah, we're up to almost 1,500 views or viewers, whatever the fuck, throughout, an hour and a half stream. This is the most we've had in a while. So I think it's showing that people are creeping back into crypto. I think we'll really see a huge explosion of both like prices and just like people back when Bitcoin smashes all-time highs here soon. So shout out to you if you're still here on these streams, still learning, still, just staying active. Like in the times that I've made the most growth in crypto, it's always been after times where I put in a lot of put in a lot of work and like kept just focused on getting better and learning and shit. So shout out to all you fuckers. Mask. Let's go ahead and check out Mask. Obviously, Mask a lot of mind share, kind of going through its first major correction here. I don't know. You guys buy any Mask? You in the Mask community or?
I bought the bounce, but I sold it already.
Bet.
Missed
Yeah. This is one of these newer coins that have a lot of mind share. Obviously, these 90% corrections are kind of like, I don't even know this is 90. This is not even 90. It's like a 50% correction. But these big corrections, these big initial ones are kind of the do or die, like proving no rite of passage moments for these coins. If they survive these 90% corrections, usually they'll go on to the higher market caps. So it's just another one. I mean, if you have long-term conviction in Mask and you think it'll be one of the ones that survives, like this is the time you want to be accumulating, right? Great stream. Agree. Good stream. Yeah. Shout out to all you guys. Let's see. But yeah, definitely give a follow to everybody that's on the panel. We do these shows. We're not going to get off quite yet, but we do these shows twice a week. Fridays at 10 a.m. PST, 1 p.m. 1 p.m. on Tuesday. We're going to start to do Twitter Spaces, some other cool stuff as well. Expect a lot more cool guests like these two, which Bra and JLK, which I both want back on the show here soon. I really like getting different perspectives from people who have different strategies. You guys know, for at least for meme coins, I'm more of a buy and hold. A lot of these like higher cap coins that I think really have a ton of upside. These two guys do have conviction in some of these other coins too, but they like to play in like the lower cap game, like not the super low cap pump fun stuff, but more so coins that have been around for a few weeks, but still in that lower market cap range that these guys think have a ton of upside. So I really appreciate you guys coming on and giving your perspectives, and definitely want you guys on soon. Any other coins or anything that happened this week that we didn't touch on, you guys can think of? Anything I missed?
I'm looking through. We got the mortgage thing, the Pudgy Penguins ETF thing, Pump Fun update, the Moonshot update. That's like the top things I'm kind of paying attention to.
Yeah, I think for me the biggest thing this week was the whole like chill house thing because, like you said, the higher it goes, the funnier it is. I do feel bad for the house coin community though. I have a
Do
bag, but like
you?
not large enough for me to care. But it sucks because it kind of reminds me of Bruh said it earlier. I believe you said you had aura farming, right? And Aura for Aura,
Mhm.
like the actual Aura coin, was like flatlined for God knows how long, and then some cabal just like comes out the blue and just pumps, and then that kind of like started to sell off for Aura farming because they're similar. Uh, but yeah, like it makes me think like can both coins thrive? Like can House Coin and Chill House like both continue to go up without like kind of vamping each other. Same thing with aura farming and aura. It's like I don't know. I feel like it's a theme that's been like happening a little bit recently.
Yeah,
Bro, I always feel like that kind of not destroys, but that shit messes up the momentum of both coins. I hate
yeah.
it.
Most of the time it does. I think during shitty conditions where not much is happening, yeah, like there's not a lot of room for both to run. But I think House Coin and House Chill House are different enough and have different enough communities that like yeah, it's a kind of a derivative, but kind of Chill House has taken on a life of its own. But I do think House Coin itself, I've have a lot of people like who are kind of working closely with the team. I do think from when it was popping, I do think it had like a lot of aspects of early like cult communities with being a movement about flipping the fucking, fucking housing market or whatever the fuck. Whatever you think about that, I do think it does have aspects of like a kind of a bigger cult community. So I could see this one coming back as well. I do
Yeah,
think I
yeah.
do think it's hilarious that the other one flipped it though. That's funny.
Or buying a house with house coin. That's funny too.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, this is the time you want to be buying a house if you do think it's going to recover. I think it's down what almost 90%, 80%, but still at 18 million, not a zero.
Yeah, I do think they have two different communities. The Chill House guys are very much schizo. Even from when it was like under a mill, like they were like you can tell like there's the people that are pushing that coin are not entirely like right in the head, which is great. That's a good thing. Like you want those type of guys in your coin. You want all the
It's like Ticker Bitcoin.
you said what?
It kind of reminds me of like Ticker Bitcoin, ETH
Yeah,
days.
them too. I used to be a Bitcoin holder once upon a time, and then the Housecoin guys. I think Housecoin I bought because it reminded me kind of like of not SPX for the community, but like their mission statement, like mission statement coins.
Yeah.
Like
You know
you
what?
can just with that.
When right before you said that shit, I was thinking the same shit. I'm like, what if house is like SPX and then Chill House is like fucking the Ticker Bitcoin. Bro, I remember I had like fucking 6 of those Sprotos. I was just too early for my own good.
Bro, buy them
Or like
back.
8.
Sprotos are going way fucking higher, dude.
To be fair, if you like,
Okay,
I don't know what the
okay.
Bitcoin chart looks like now because I haven't looked at it in well over like 2 years. But I know back
It's right
then.
here.
Yeah, I
Oh,
got it up. I got it.
yeah, back it was super hard to like. It was so choppy. Like you had to have like an amazing amount of patience to still be holding to this day.
Yeah, if
But
you look
they're a
at the
great
chart,
community
it's
though.
been the same price for 2 years around this same price range, which I think it's bullish as fuck long term to be able to hold out where it is, and the supply distribution is really good now. I think glad you guys brought that up. I think Bitcoin, amongst these like coins that have been around for a few years, it might be the fucking best buy, like best risk to reward.
It's
Obviously, like
clear.
I
Yeah.
don't I don't. It hasn't cleared this high again since August of 23, but I think this time it very likely does. Bra pointed up on Sprotos. I think NFT wise, I think NFT. This is another subject, but like NFT meme coins are going to do really well, and just like the Sproto community in general, and like the mind share and the
Damn.
how many Sprotos like big accounts still have them. I see no reason why when we do get meme conditions good again, that Bitcoin doesn't just absolutely fucking rip.
Bitcoin was one of
This is the
actually the first meme to ever make me laugh. Honestly,
It's just a pure like meme, you know what I mean? It's just like just the most schizo. They just created the schizo shit.
if anything, they were the first. Yeah, I'm with you.
We're gonna say,
and
bro.
they're the first PFP. I said they're the first meme coin / PFP, right? They're the first one that did the
They
Yeah,
might
yeah,
be. They might be. Yeah, they might be.
Like the
yeah.
first NFT meme coin NFT. Yeah, one of them for sure. I think the Aeons came shortly after, but yeah, I think that
Yeah,
narrative is going to be huge with the meme coin NFTs. So super bullish on
yeah, that's
Spurdos.
bad.
Yeah, I'll check a few more for you guys. Check Salami. I think we're already coming past 2 hours, but yeah, I want to have these guys on maybe even next week. I think this is a good thing we have going on here. Getting different perspectives. Still tripping says, "Yo, what's up, guys? I'm late." Shout out to you, brother. Definitely check out the replay. 1,500 people on here at some point during the stream. That's definitely the highest we've had in a minute here. So shout out to fucking you guys. Nobody has enough Son, by the way. Yeah, shout out to everybody in the Son community. Definitely I'll be looking for the people that followed today. Definitely shoot a lot of you guys follows back. Appreciate the you guys coming on the stream. Meerkat, I'll look at that really quickly.
Meerkat. I bought that shit earlier, but I think I sold it already.
Yeah, that one's down a bit. Yeah. Chart wise, it looks a bit corrective, but again, with these brand new ones, unless I'm like been paying attention to the actual community, like there's not much I can tell you. But the chart doesn't look completely wrecked. But yeah, looks kind of corrective, but again, brand new coin. Not much I can tell you. Son. But yeah, I think for Loco got off. Thoughts on Hype? Yeah, no, I think Hype's gonna continue to rip, bro. So yeah, with that, guys, like I said, really fucking loved having Bra and JLK on. We'll definitely have them on here soon. Definitely give everybody a follow here on the panel. Bra, Gambler, JLK for Loco, myself. Turn on post notifications so you don't miss any streams. Like I said, we'll be back here on Tuesday at 10 a.m. PST to talk about everything that's going on. Expect more guests. Expect a lot of cool stuff coming. And shout out to everybody who's been on here today. Honestly, it's been amazing. Shout out Juicy, shout out Embermain, shout out OKX, shout out Still Trippin', shout out Holy Father, Capu, Pepperlin, Peppy, Jagro, fucking Wonka, of course, Edsel, Vexar, fucking I am Dostoevsky, everybody. Fucking love all you guys. Appreciate you. Definitely make sure to, if you have any suggestions for the stream, anything you want to see, definitely shoot me a DM, even if, just to say what's up, whatever. Again, love you guys. Bra, Gambler, JLK, before we get off, anything you want to leave with the people?
Yes, sir. No, just believe in something, and I'm down for next stream. Let me know.
Hell yeah, brother. JLK, anything?
I appreciate you guys for bringing me up. I am not in any more chats, so I just talk to myself all day. So it's like cool to talk to other people about the same shit I say in my head. Buy Son, buy coins that are multi-cycle. Before you buy anything, just ask yourself, why would I buy this? Why would I keep buying this coin or keep holding this coin when the cycle is over? That's my advice to anybody.
Love that. Gambler?
No, man, it was a good show. Shout out to JLK and Bra for joining us. Shout out to you for hosting as well, and our producer Jesse behind the scenes. Looking forward to the next one.
Hell yeah. Yeah, shout out to Can't Stop Me Now. Definitely check out this guy. Helped me a lot with these streams. Good buddy of mine. I think on the Twitter spaces and stuff, we'll probably have him up on stage and stuff as well. Definitely check him out. He's a big reason why these streams and the entertainment value and like the quality of the intro, everything is due to him. So definitely check out this guy. I think he's going to start making some content kind of around AI and kind of learning how to use ChatGPT to kind of transform your business or just to kind of help you, have a more efficient, just to make your life better in general. So definitely check him out. Check out everybody on the panel. And if there's nothing else, I will see you guys on the next one. Shout out to you, Miss D. Shout out Pepperlini. Shout out to everyone. I'll see you on the next one. Love you guys. Peace.